This is Get Inspired with Dr. Barb. Hello, everyone. This is Barbara Vokidis, host of Get Inspired with Dr. Barb, podcast on education, innovation in education. Today, I have a very special guest. She's connecting from England, and sometimes we have so much luck that connections from overseas are even better than local. I don't know how that works. It's quite interesting, but every time I have a guest who is essentially who has devoted most of their life and career really to helping neurodivergent children and specifically autistic children. And there is always an incredible, empowering story behind it. Such episodes are extra special because I believe that in order to improve education altogether for everyone, we have to improve education for these children, for neurodivergent, autistic children included, because if we can do that, if their experiences are better, I think that means that everybody else's experiences will be better. It's just kind of my theory. And but first of all, I would like to welcome you, a wonderful audience. Again, this is going to be quite amazing because of the guest we have today, and I would like to tell you a little bit about her. Minakshi Koch. For her, one of the most profound challenges faced by mothers of neurodiverse children is ensuring that child social inclusion and acceptance does take place. And because of that, she is really working tirelessly to educate others about these needs, but also strengths, because these children, and this has to be really told out loud, they just don't have needs. They also have so many strengths, but in many systems, these strengths are not pronounced. They're not even visible at all. So that is her mission. She is driven by a passionate, unwavering commitment to making a difference in the lives of those with autism and dedicates her time and energy to raising awareness and promoting inclusion. And I know how much time and energy it takes, in addition to raising her own autistic child. As the chief editor of Ishkama Global Change magazine, it's an amazing magazine, by the way, her influence reaches far and wide, touching the hearts and minds of countless mothers across the globe, because that's what this is about, reaching people across the globe. Dr. Minakshi Koch is a multi-talented autism mother who stands at the intersection of scientific research, corporate leadership, and social advocacy. And that's what it takes. Currently, she's serving as the vice CEO of Ishkama Ltd., Ishkama Global Change Magazine, Ishkama Global CIC, BHI Homes Ltd., and KIA Beauty Ltd. So many different things here. She brings a diverse and vibrant perspective to her roles. Holding an MPhil degree in biochemistry is a very interesting field for me, so remote from what I'm doing as a teacher, but this is quite fascinating, I have to say. And postgraduate diploma in clinical research and clinical data management. She has significant body of work in academic publishing with numerous contributions to national, international journals. I love this so much when someone bridges this academic serious activity with social activity that's not less serious, but actually equally seriously important, I would say. And she is also the author of Star Autism Moms, a book on early intervention in autism. She has compiled her own experiences and shares it. So, Autism Mom, do not feel lost and helpless. And I know how difficult that road is, that the journey can feel helpless and lonely and like nobody understands you. She's running the IGC for Autism Project since 2022 in Ipswich, and that's in England. I know there's also Ipswich in the United States, but that's not that one, to help autism mothers and kids with various resources and tips on how to live happily with autism. That has to be a tremendous initiative because there's so much need. So I absolutely am admiring her for this activity. She's an advocate for autism and believes that with early intervention and therapies, the lives of not only autistic children, but their families can also improve. And she has raised funds through workshops and henna stalls to run an autism project in Ipswich for a year, which has impressed, and got her funds from the National Lottery Community Funds to expand the project. This is amazing, and I would like to congratulate her on this initiative. This, I would imagine, took so much time and energy, because if I just mention this in one sentence, that will never really show the amount of commitment, energy, and also the history and the journey. Welcome, Dr. Minakshi Koch, on my show, Get Inspired with Dr. Barb.
Thank you so much, Barbara. Thank you so much for having me here. And really, you said such wonderful things about me.
They are all true, and you do it all.
Yes, when I look back and when I hear the whole thing now, I feel like, my goodness, that's been how many years now? Like, I feel quite old.
This is just a lot of activity than a very young person has done and will do even more. That's what I'm going to say to you right now. But
That's
if you
very
could,
kind of you. That's very kind of you. And I think
but it's true.
all mothers who have special needs children, who have neurodivergent kids, all moms who do this work are super special. And the strength is something God bestows on them, because I think it is pre-planned, and God knows this is the mother that will be able to handle this child the best and give them the best. So whatever has happened, I think was pre-planned, is a part of God's plan, and the strength, it comes from him.
I totally believe that too, because when we start this journey, we don't see this plan that much. We see it more as a, like,
Challenge.
exactly, it's challenge. And of course, like, why is this happening to me, right? It's inevitable to ask. But I would like to, I think this, what are you, of course, you are a proud mom of your own child, but what is the project that you are most proud of? I mean, you've done a lot of things, and but what is something that you put a lot of energy into, and you are really proud of, and you think it might make a change and a difference? If you would have to name one thing out of all your activity.
I would say my personal project, my own son, Mimansh, is definitely my most important and most interesting project, because now he has been excluded for the third time. And to find out and to see, like, learn in this process that how difficult it is for them to be accepted. It's We see it as our struggles as a mother, as teachers, as carers, and everyone, but we don't see the struggle that the child goes through. What happens to them? What do they think? What do they feel? And what do they actually deserve? What are their rights? How much one should? What's that length of the fight that you would want to put in? And I want to know, I think the most important thing for me is to get the answers. I want to know, what will it take to get a perfect system that can work for neurodivergent kids? Not just bits, parts, and things that would be handed over to them saying, this is what we have and this is what we give. If you really see, and I have got, my child has got high needs. He is very low in the spectrum, and he has got behavioral challenges. And I actually completed my level 2 in behavioral challenges recently. I took up the course because I wanted to learn more, find out what they think, what is the best way to approach them. As I put in everything, I implement everything, I see how much easier it gets, when you get into their world, think in a way they do, instead of trying to make them understand this is what you should do, or this is how you should behave and act.
Yes.
So in all the things that I have ever done, in all the projects and everything, the book writing, this, that, all. I think I have learned more than that is what's most valuable to me. That's my biggest strength. It's only when I started learning and writing and discovering in the process that I found out that even now I'm finding, step by step, finding out what actually can make the system work, what actually we have to do for our children, what actually can be the answer. And I talk about, I'm not saying anything against what is available for them, as in budget, government, and everything. Everyone is talking about this these days, that the send budget has gone up, parents are still struggling, schools are scarce, this is not enough. But it's not a lot that is needed, but it is the right thing that is needed. We are not providing our children with the right resources. Even though we are providing them with schools, it is not functioning as per what they require, or they can not meet their needs. It's not meeting what they can, or they it's we have to understand, when we say neurodivergent, it's not something they have chosen. It's actually not typical. It's very different the way that they think, they function. But it is not difficult. It's not difficult, and it is only different if we can understand their way of thinking, or give them the correct resources and the help at the right time. It can work, and it is going to lessen the burden on the government going forward, because if we do not provide help at this stage, we'll have many adults who are going to depend upon the government and be on benefits in the future, which is a failing. It's going to really fail. Like, people these days say that the number of cases in autism have risen. No, it's not so. It's not like that. It's the diagnosis, and this many people, they discuss the number of cases of they blame it on fast food, this, that, everything. That's not the case. A lot of disorders, diagnosed disorders, also fit into the autism spectrum, but it is there are also other diagnoses along with that. There are also comorbidities with that. Everything is falling into the spectrum, but not necessarily the diagnosis has gone up. It is that they are getting diagnosed now. Earlier, a lot of cases were missed. A lot of We would just take a person be different, and we would say he's just like that.
You're right. It would be just classified as lazy, just not
Lazy, yes.
difficult to learn, difficult to teach. But you said something really interesting, and I totally agree with this. It's not that we need a huge change, but in order to change anything in the system, in every school, different questions need to be asked. The questions, because right now these children are just put into the system without asking what they actually need. And once they put in the system, it's like, okay, we have this and that. So it sounds like this kid is going to receive this and that, because that's what we have. But the question is never, what does this child need? And also from the perspective of the parents and the child, because these are the people who know these needs. So these questions are not asked. In other words, like I said, it's just the kid is put into the system, and the parent, of course, too, and is given things that are not what he or she needs, but what the school kind of has. And it's called, we are taking care of this child. And that is not what's happening. It's not, the child is not being taken care of. The child is just thrown into the existing system without really asking what the child really needs. Am I right to say that?
Yes, and many children also get excluded because the school says, oh, they are incapable of learning. I would say it's not the
Yeah,
scenario, it's not the right thing to say. It is you who are incapable of teaching a special needs child, a neurodivergent child.
exactly.
And it is a shame, because today there are so many resources available. The internet is full of ideas. People, parents especially, parents are the greatest advocates of their children, and they are the greatest help for other neurodivergent parents, actually, I would say, because you get to learn from them and they share. It is not, you will never find a special needs parent saying, I don't want them to know about what worked for us, or you won't. There is no competition, there is no ego, there is no it's just happiness. It's happiness even if you see another special needs child. If you see their child is special needs and something has worked, even if it's not working for me, if I have suggested something and it works for them, I would be very happy. I'd be happy and have a sense of achievement, because once you are a special needs parent of a special needs child, you see all children in the same way. No child is different for you, and you will feel happy with the smallest achievements. And for you, it really brings you true joy that cannot be measured. I would think parents, and your podcast is very people, they have, you have got a huge fan following. There are many people who listen to you. I would say it's, if you really need help, go to another parent or follow them. There are many reels these days, Instagram, and it's not necessary everything works for your child. But I really support the parents, because the parents have tried and tried and tried and they
Yeah.
have got somewhere. It's not necessary it will work for your child, but there is no harm in trying. Maybe it works, because this is something that someone has found the hard way. Why would you want to go through the whole thing? Try and see if maybe this, and that is where I feel teachers should, especially it's teachers who are teaching special needs children, should update themselves. They should do a little more research. I think
Yeah.
they should be also paid more than regular teachers, because it's very difficult. It's not an easy job. I think in order to retain teachers and have staff with the correct knowledge, the government should look at their salaries in a different way as compared to, I'm not saying that the work of any teacher is easy, it's already very difficult, but when it comes to special needs, they need a lot of work. They need to find they need to sit down, research, find out what is going to work. And no child is same. All the children have different needs, have got different potential, not just needs, potential. They all have the ability to learn. Yes, they may not have, it's not measurable as a neurotypical child, it cannot be compared, but it's not that they completely lack understanding or are unable.
I agree, but I have to ask this language that autistic children, that they are, some of them, that they cannot learn. Is this official language from somewhere, or it's not, and it's just that what the people say in schools? I just would like to know, is it an official language actually? Because this is something you hear. Is it mostly from
We
the
hear
teachers?
a lot. It comes from teachers as well, and many times they when they are excluding a child, they make reports like bundles, and they keep writing about the student of what happens and why they need to exclude. So when they make a file, they also say while others were doing this, he was unable to do this, and they find the comparison with other children, and then they say this child is completely incapable, or they cannot attend class, they are quite not attentive, they disturb the class. That is why no one asked, no parent said keep my child with 5 other children. Yes, that is why I'm trying to find the right place for my child where he can learn. If my child has got sensory issues, if they cannot, if they are sensory avoiders, particularly if they do not like loud noises, they don't like crowded places, they cannot tolerate too many people around them, it's already there mentioned in the EHCP, it's already there in the files. Then when the authorities, the local authorities look for a place and give them a placement, how do you put them in such a class? And if a school is accepting a child, you must have definitely read through the file. The person, if you are reading about the child and you are obviously getting some help from the parents must be discussing about the child and telling you what works and what doesn't. How do you say after a year or so that we are unable to do this, or the child is not cooperating? Simple things can happen, that they'll blame the child, but they would not say what actually happened that particular day. For example, now my child, he's going to, it's not a school, they are just taking him out. It's kind of a respite thing. So the other day the van was supposed to be here and it took it's supposed to be 10, it's supposed to come at 9:20. So we are waiting and it's very difficult. You have dressed up the kid, you have set
Yeah,
expectations, and you have told them that please wait, and it's not easy. It's not easy alone or with carers. Anyway, the van came at 10:15. That's like
yeah,
55 minutes later. In the 55 minutes, the amount that the anxiety, the stress, and
exactly.
the child,
Everything
the
goes up.
fear. Yeah, and that fear. Even if it is a typical child,
Nobody's asking the questions. What these children really need. And even this simple situation, right? Some van is being late. People act like they don't care
they don't care.
about the autistic
They don't
children.
act like they don't care. They don't care.
They
And the
just don't care. And you just even say that they just don't care. And it's hard to compare these things across the countries, United States and in England. But it is not a good picture of the attitude of teachers in England, I have to say. And we probably will find cases like that here in the United States too. But like a total sort of ignorance really is. Like they don't really not only that they don't learn about these needs, but they just like deny them and they just shove them under the carpet and they just say, well, these children cannot learn. But the question should be to them, well, what did you provide? What did you do to make a change, to help them in learning? And it's never on them. It's always the child's fault and probably also parents' fault, they could even say without saying that. But if you could mention, Dr. Koch, where you can be followed on social media now towards the end of our chat. I'm sure we have to have another conversation because there is so much more to discuss and also about your more like official formal activity. I would I would love to hear, our audience would love to hear where you can be followed on social media, your activity.
I think the best place would be our website, regular activities, and our Facebook page. It is IGC for Autism, and most of our activities are there on the website as well, which is Ishkama. You can get in touch with me if you have any questions or you need any help, especially for parents who come to England and or are planning to come to England with a neurodivergent child, especially if it is autism and you're thinking about education. I always say it's best to know, and please be prepared. It's not going to be it's not going to be smooth. You'll have
Right.
to really fight tooth and nail for your child. Children, I would say it is very different because they'll just follow. But when it comes to our children, they need a system, the right system with the right resources and dedicated people who want to do it and not doing it because, okay, it's our work, it's a job, we have to do it, so we just need to
Yeah.
finish the day. Try to learn about the child, read about the child, find out what can work around this child. If the child
Mm-hmm.
has got is exhibiting certain behavior, then what can be done around that? If they are showing interest in something, what can be done around that? I'm not even talking about teaching a child. It's not, it's the learning will come. The first thing
Mm-hmm.
is bonding. Learn
You're
to
right. Environment, creating environment, community, and the child being a part of the community. That's how it should start. You're right. We're not even talking about the teaching. The teaching will come after this child feels feel
safe.
that people,
They
yeah,
have
feel
to.
safe, that people care about the child. I
Yes,
mean,
and they do.
totally.
We feel they don't
Yeah.
understand. It's not so. They obviously learn your intentions. They learn your body language. Your tone of voice matters. Everything matters, and they are even better than others neurotypical people in finding out what people are thinking about them, how they from their reaction, because they are more focused than us. They don't look around or think about a million things like we are, and we can ignore the behavior of certain things around us, but they don't, because that is their whole world. When you are there with them, they would look at you, they learn from you, they would want that kind of affection from
Mm-hmm.
you. And then you write bundles of notes against them, a child, for God's sake. Meaning, you make the special schools and everything, but you cannot keep a special needs child. Just say
Yeah.
it, you have failed. So shut
Yeah.
down. Why are you
Exactly.
wasting parents' time and saying this is special needs, and you charge a lot? It's not like it's going to be the same cost as a typical school or something, right? So you have opened it and you have worked on it. Hopefully, you have taken this big space, and you have started something. Obviously, if you're saying we are a super specialist, you should have that. How is it that my child is going out in public with three carers nicely, and then they are enjoying and coming back? Why did you say he's so difficult and made so many stories about him and got him out? Who
I
is
think
taking accountability of these things? Like, whatever is not seen is just blamed on the child. Yeah, I 55 minutes my child kept waiting for the transport. It's expected from a
yeah.
child who has complex needs, and then you will say it is his fault. Isn't it a shame on you?
I think this is
I would
there's
say that's a
something
shame
there
on
is
the transport, the shame on the
yeah.
government,
I
that
think
they
there's
have
something wrong
not
with
provided him an
yeah.
autistic child, a child who is already deprived of his rights, to make him wait and to push him to the state where he had to bang his head on the concrete.
I think there is something wrong with how these people are even educate, how these professionals at every level are educated about children and their needs and their potentials. I think there's something very wrong with how teachers and other professionals are being educated in the system how to teach and take care of these children. And I
You
think if
see,
you
Dr. Barbara, you can teach people everything from the book, but to care and to be really concerned and love and bond has to come naturally.
it
If
does, but it needs
people
to be
do not want to do
reinforced.
that, it's not possible.
But it
We,
needs to be
we can,
reinforced in those programs, in those teacher preparation programs. And people who do not respond to these needs, or they show that they are not going to care about children's needs, they should not be allowed. That is my personal opinion. They should not be allowed to finish teacher preparation programs because they do not qualify to work with children. If you think everything is child's fault, and you are not responsible for teaching special needs child, then you should not be doing this job. So there is something very wrong with selecting
very wrong.
and people for these jobs.
Exactly.
It's like a cover up system. I have to say
Yes.
that, and people just go through the system, but there is no vetting system. They probably graduate because of good grades, who knows what else, but the basics and the most important qualities that you and I are just talking about, nobody cares about, and they can just slip through the system. That's all I'm going to really say. And I mean, we'll have to schedule another conversation because we just really uncovering what teacher preparation and other preparation programs, how how bad they are, and I have to say that. So this is a big issue, really. I think that really we need to talk about, and I will talk about that too.
It's a
Even though
huge subject.
I am myself a professor in a teacher preparation program, I see that we struggle with certain things, and I think this is a big issue. Thank you so much, Dr. Koch, for this wonderful conversation today. We have to do part two because this is an
Okay.
incredible topic. This is a topic that's needed, and that really, without improving so much, we can't talk about improving education without
We have to.
handling these issues,
We
really.
have
And
to because we still have hope probably for the next generation. But if we fail, I don't know where we'll stand. I really dread thinking how difficult it's going to become for the system one day, leaving so many children out of education or help. They are just raising people who are going to be dependent and on benefits. It's going to be very difficult. Things you oversee now are going to pile up and come back to you threefold, maybe 100-fold actually. And that is when you will really have to think where we are going, what we are really going to do with individuals with such huge needs.
yeah, we have similar situation in the United States. How many of these children, when they're adults, they don't work anywhere? I think it's about 80%, if not more. So these issues are very, very similar, really, and they're going to be similar across the whole world. And that's why it's so important to have guests like you, because this is not just a problem in the United States, it's everywhere else. And I would like
It's
to
a huge
just
problem
also,
here in the UK. It's a huge problem here.
yeah, I would like to thank you, our wonderful audience today, too, for tuning in. And make sure to follow Get Inspired with Dr. Barb so you never miss the episode. And we would hope that you would comment once the episode airs about this conversation, what you think, what your opinions are. Many people have opinions about that, and it's a good thing, but we also need to sort of like spread these opinions. We need to talk about it on social media and not only, and that's why I'm doing this podcast. So we can't wait to air the episode and also to have more conversations on social media and on the podcast sites about this very, very important topic that is close to my heart and to Dr. Koch's heart, of course, and many, many other parents and educators and other professionals. See you, everyone, on social media, and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye. Thank you so much, Dr. Koch.
Dr. Barbara, thank you. Thanks a lot.
You're very welcome. It was such a pleasure. This is Get Inspired with Dr. Barb.